up on this edition of Catawba Communities, Dave Harden has our last installment with Scott Millar on the economic development in Catawba County. Mandy Pitts talks with Lynn Lure about the new programs and projects at the Salt Block. Gary Herman and Lee Yunt talk Catawba County social media. Mandy Pitts sits down with Newton Mayor Robert Mullinex and let the festival begin. All the details you need to know about this year's Hickory Oktoberfest. Did you know? Simple tips on saving energy at home and more coming up next on Catawba Communities.
Hello, I'm Gary Herman, Public Information Officer for the City of Newton. Today it's my pleasure to have Lee Yunt Jr., who is a Programmer Analyst for Catawba County Technology Department with us. Thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Today we're going to be speaking on social media and how our local governments are utilizing it. We're talking like Facebook, Twitter, all kinds of outlets there, Lee. Sure. How are local governments using social media?
Sure. So we first started using social media via Facebook. And kind of the reason for that was to reach a younger audience. Since then, what we've found is that we're reaching a wide variety of people, both age and gender and even location. And so it's a great way to reach people with the message that we want for them to see, what Catawba County is doing, as well as other local governments. And
in the city of Newton, we've also experienced quite a success with that. We have over 1,300 fans for our city.
Wow, that's excellent.
And special events and emergencies and things of that nature, you can really spread the word to these folks in a great way. I mean, it's just facilitated the spread of information like no other thing I've ever seen. So.
Oh, absolutely. We've seen the same thing, especially you touched on emergencies. Mm-hmm. We get a lot of interesting weather in this area, so we've done the same thing about pushing out severe weather updates and things like that. Seen a great response from that, and it's so easy to share the information, especially with all those 2,500 or 1,300 fans or likes. Those folks can share that same information with their friends and family as well.
Exactly, and the City of Newton also does that with Catawba County's alerts. Like I think you have a Twitter account for @CatcoEM for the emergency management side. And if there's a tornado warning or something like that, Newton can pick up on that and send that out to all their fans. So it's like a piggyback effect to where we can really spread the word to a lot of people in a short amount of time. So it's just a great way, a great avenue to spread the word.
Absolutely. And well, I was just going to touch on the Twitter piece. For those folks that don't have Twitter, you can actually follow any Twitter account on your cell phone using text message. So if you just have text messaging on your phone, but you might not necessarily have Twitter or a smartphone, you can actually follow along with all the tweets and everything going on within Twitter via text message. And we actually have a little blurb on our website. If you go to catawbacountync.gov/social media and scroll down, you'll see all our social media sites. But if you go to the Twitter site, you can see how to do that with the text messaging.
Okay, and I think you can also subscribe to text messaging within Facebook, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Okay, so if you're not a real high-tech user, but you do have a cell phone with text messaging capability, of course, standard data rates may apply.
Right, of course.
But you can subscribe to these alerts and receive this information right in the palm of your hand.
Absolutely.
So more and more things are going mobile, and it's just, I can't believe how easy it is to get information out to the people, and they really like it.
Yes.
Well, speak a little bit about that. What's some positive input that you've received?
Well, we've seen a great response as far as people letting us know that they appreciate us putting that severe weather information out there, as well as information about programs that the county is putting on, things that they might not necessarily had known about before. And so we're really seeing this as putting the information where the people are, rather than expecting them to come to our website or to our buildings to get the information. A lot of the information is right out there in the social space where they are. Not to say that you can't get the same information on our website or in our county buildings or city buildings, but it's just another way to easily disseminate the information to where the people already are. And so we've seen a great response from that. Another avenue that we've taken, I know that you guys have taken as well, is the use of Flickr and YouTube, which is Flickr is photo sharing and YouTube being the video sharing. Being able to show our citizens and even visitors what we're all about, what we're doing in the community, rather than just telling them. And so that's a great tool to use as well.
Well, you mentioned Flickr. Of course, Newton just had their Soldiers Reunion celebration a couple of weeks ago. We posted hundreds of photos, and one day we had like 6,000 and some views of our Flickr page. So it is amazing how quickly and efficiently you can get the message out there to people. So I know I keep pushing that, but that's the main thing about this social media. If you're not on Facebook, if you're not on Twitter, if you're not on Flickr, YouTube, you need to check out our local governments on their social media sites, because I'm proud of them.
Absolutely.
I think our local governments have done a great job. So, what do you see as the future of social media? Do you have any outlook or insight as to what else may be coming our way?
We know things are changing so quickly in technology as it is, especially in social media and the different social networks that are constantly being developed and improved upon. I really see a lot of social networks that are currently in place, like Facebook and Twitter and all those guys, really leveraging the mobile aspect of it. And so that's where a lot of these social networks are growing. So, people, like you said, have the information easily accessible on their cell phones, on their laptops, on their tablets, things of that sort. So I see these companies really focusing on mobile, and I think that's going to be emphasized upon in the future.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Also, one last thing I'd like to ask you about is Foursquare. I noticed the county is doing Foursquare, and the city of Newton is also looking into doing this. Explain a little bit about Foursquare and tell the people what that's all about.
Sure. So Foursquare is an app that you can use your smartphone with and actually check in at different places. You can let your friends and family know that you are physically at this place. And then there's a gaming aspect to it. You can earn points and badges and things like that. So they try to make it fun. For businesses, they can actually offer specials and tips and things of that sort. Catawba County is using it in a way that people can explore Catawba County with different tips. So basically the way that works is you go to foursquare.com/Catawba County, and you can follow Catawba County on Foursquare. When you check in with your smartphone somewhere, and you're close to one of these places that we've left a tip for you around Catawba County, it'll pop up on your cell phone saying, hey, since you're so close to this place, you might want to check out this tip.
Thanks, Lee, for being with us today.
Sure.
And we'll be right back after this. Lisa, you're all on Foursquare. Having lots of success with that. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm joined by Scott Millar, president of the Catawba County Economic Development Corporation, which partners with most of our local governments to work to improve economic development and help create jobs in our community. Scott, thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Now, one of the things that we talk about a lot is the concept of incentives. One of the things that has become a very common tool is the use of incentives, and that's created a sort of a competitive environment. But I think, and I know you agree with me, we hear from a lot of people that really don't understand exactly how incentives work. Am I correct that incentives basically is just a return of a portion over a very specified period of time of the new investment that's made in a community, so that if the investment itself and the jobs themselves aren't coming, then those incentives would never happen? Am I correct?
Correct.
Talk about that, how that works.
Well, the way that we've structured incentives here in Catawba County is that every incentive payment that really is going to go to a company to encourage it to locate here. And the concept really is having a significant portion of something is a whole lot better than having 100% of nothing. And companies and communities, particularly in the environment that we have right now, across the United States and across the world, are receiving incentive payments for them to locate that investment there. And so what we're trying to do is a contractually based agreement where the employer, as a result of them making the investment that creates new tax revenues and new jobs in Catawba County, will get a portion of that back, but Catawba County gets to keep a significant portion of that as well. So there's income stream, always guaranteed, coming back to the community for that incentive.
Catawba County gets to keep a portion of it, but in many cases it might also be a partner municipality. For example, with Target that was involved with Newton, or the newest announcement with Fairmont Designs, that's for Hickory.
Right.
So there's a certain amount of partnership role for municipalities as well, rather than just Catawba County government.
Right.
Talk with me a little bit about what maybe are some of the trends we see coming. I know that I read recently that data centers is something going to be looking at, maybe creating again that climate that brings in data centers, and also we may be hearing some more about a multi-jurisdictional business park. Talk a little bit more about that, please.
Well, because of the location of so many data center facilities around this area, we've been marketing ourselves internationally and nationally as a data center corridor. We're the center part of that, and Apple, certainly having located the biggest one right here in Catawba County, is providing sort of a lot of momentum for that effort. But don't think that that's the only thing that we're working toward. And we're trying to set the stage for the opportunities of investment in all sorts of different opportunities.
Let me ask you, as we wrap up here, to tell me a little bit more about what you see as the future of economic development. You were telling me about something that involves the word cluster or clustering. What is that?
Well, certainly if you look back in time, Catawba County has really done a good job in producing furniture, textiles. Prior to those two, we led the nation in production of wagons. You know, few people realize that. So the ups and downs of the manufacturing cycle give us opportunities in areas. For example, the telecommunications cluster that's here with CommScope, Corning, Draka, and suppliers, General Dynamics, and others. Those certainly are one aspect of the communication spectrum that we're supporting as well with the data center recruitment that's going on right now. How can we build a cluster around the telecom and the data sector? But likewise, now we've got the eco-complex. We just had a recent announcement by Turbo Coatings USA, an Italian energy supplier company that came here to supply Siemens in Charlotte. We've got solar opportunities that are coming on board here. Can we become a cluster of energy and emerging energy production and supply? Can we also take advantage of that manufacturing sector and build a new cluster in manufacturing using these innovation techniques that we're talking about? So I think where we're going in the future is a couple of different sectors, not just data centers, but supporting those sectors, and that's where we'll go from here.
Scott Millar, President of the Economic Development Corporation, thanks very much. Appreciate your insight, appreciate your time. When we come back, Mandy Pitts will be talking with Newton Mayor Robert Mullinax about some of the recent successes that the city of Newton has had with economic development. But first, on every Catawba community, we'll be bringing you Did You Know? It'll be an interesting fact, something you may not know about Catawba County and one of its communities.
Catawba County was famous for its country singers from the 1920s through the 1940s. The Blue Sky Boys, who hailed from Hickory, were a popular duet in the 1940s on the Southern music circuit, while Homer Lee, Pappy Sherrill of Sherrill's Ford, was so popular he even played Carnegie Hall.
There's something I'd like to say to you. You seem surprised, I recognize. I'm no detective, but I just surmise.
Thank you, Mayor Robert Mullinax, for joining us. Mayor Mullinax is with the City of Newton, and we're glad to have you on this segment. And tonight we're focusing on economic development. Can you let us know a little bit about economic development, how it's made an impact on Newton lately?
First of all, thank you for having me tonight. It's a pleasure to be here. During these tough economic times, the City of Newton has spent a lot of time and effort trying to create jobs for our citizens, not only of Newton, but of the Catawba Valley area. And for the last several years, we've had some success. Some examples of those success stories are ZF Limforder, a German automotive manufacturer which now employs over 200 people in the city of Newton. Flowers Bakery out of Thomasville, Georgia, which has come in and employs over 200 people. Target Corporation has built a tremendous distribution center west of town on Highway 10, and they employ over 600 people and have spent over $100 million in our city. So those are some instances of recent success stories. Existing companies that are here that are expanding, Moretz Hosiery has done a tremendous amount of work at our Broyhill Park. Sarstedt Corporation, which is a German company with their North American headquarters in the city of Newton, has recently added a 9-story addition. When they finish with filling out the employment there, they will employ over 200 people. So we keep working at it, and those are some good things that are happening in town.
And it seems like there's a lot of buzz, a lot of good things happening in downtown Newton. So there's some economic development successes there too?
I'm actually very pleased with downtown Newton. We have recently adopted a Main Street streetscape plan that will guide the aesthetic development of downtown for years to come. It was implemented with laying brick pavers in front of the old post office playhouse, which recently opened back in October of 2010. And Old Post Office Playhouse is a landmark and destination that we are so proud to have. The green room playmakers house themselves there, and it defines the skyline of the city of Newton. We're real pleased with that.
Well, a lot of things are happening in Newton, and what do you attribute a lot of the economic development success to?
We have a very good partnership with our local municipalities, our neighbors, the City of Hickory, the Economic Development Commission, Catawba County, the Department of Commerce, and our council takes an aggressive approach towards seeking out good quality employers and being willing to offer them an incentive program that makes them want to come here. Plus, it's the Catawba Valley, and who wouldn't want to come live in the Catawba Valley?
You're exactly right. I agree with you there. Well, thank you for joining us, Mayor Mullinax from the City of Newton, and next time.
Approximately, including the library, 650,000 visitors a year. Many of those are school children. They come from 18 counties.
Hi, I'm Mandy Pitts, City of Hickory Communications Director, and with me I have Lynn Lair, who is the Co-Executive Director of the United Arts Council of Catawba County. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for asking me to be here.
We are excited to be at the Salt Block. Tell us where the Salt Block is located.
The Salt Block is conveniently located between downtown Hickory and Lenoir-Rhyne University. We're on Highway 127 and 3rd Avenue Northeast, so we're very convenient to walk to.
Right, and as part of the Arts Council, you have many affiliates. Not all the affiliates are located in the Salt Block. Can you tell us about all of your affiliates and which ones are at the Salt Block? Yes, we are a county-wide organization and have 9 funded affiliates and have 5 affiliates on the block. The affiliates that are not on the block are the Catawba County Historical Association, the Green Room Community Theater, the Hickory Community Theater, and Hickory Landmark Society. Located on the Salt Block are Catawba Science Center, the Hickory Museum of Art, the Western Piedmont Symphony, the Hickory Choral Society, and of course the United Arts Council of Catawba County. And all of those affiliates, no matter what kind of visitors we have in, whether they're people observing Hickory, want to learn about Hickory, want to help us as we move forward with marketing and branding our community, everyone mentions the Salt Block, and of course, and then continues with the Arts Council. Because mainly the visitors that come each year, how many visitors do you have each year at the Salt Block itself? Well, including the Hickory Public Library, we have almost 650,000 a year. Many of those are school children. We have school children that come from 18 counties.
We're very impressed and proud of that, and on any day in the fall and winter, you can see buses from a number of places.
What is a SALT block and why do people come here?
SALT block is science, art, and literature together, and they come here for the Science Center, the museum. We also, many of our visitors come to the auditorium. Our SALT block auditorium was just renovated about 3 years ago, and we have lots of band concerts in there and choral competitions. It's used approximately 200 out of 365 days. One of the principal users is the Western Piedmont Symphony. They have a resident quartet, the Contras Quartet. We are very proud of that because there are very few symphonies that have that. They have their concerts here. In fact, this year the symphony is having one of their Masterworks concerts here in February. They come for the Science Center. The Science Center has an amazing aquarium planetarium. It's just wonderful. The kids love it. You can pet a stingray. The adults love it. We also have the Museum of Art is the second oldest museum in the state. There are many exhibits at any one time, and things are always changing. Wonderful exhibits with both the Science Center and the Hickory Museum of Art.
When you drive by, there's construction trucks, vehicles. What's happening over here at the SALT block?
The building on the corner, the West Wing building, was the newest addition. The school system was using it, and about 4 or 5 years ago they turned it back over to us, and we are getting ready to renovate a portion of it. Science Center is the major user of the building right now. We are renovating the middle level, and also as a part of that is the old library for Hickory High School, and we're renovating that for a community room to be used by the whole community. We're hoping to have meetings there, board retreats, wedding receptions, because we have a lovely garden just outside on the corner which is dedicated to Harley Schufert and his wife, and it is beautiful. That's a very recent addition to it.
Anyone who wants to keep up with the activities going on at the SALT block, how would they find out?
They can go on our website, artscatawba.org, and we have a link to all of the organizations, not only on the SALT block, but countywide.
Thank you, Lynn, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back after this. Boy, the renovations sound exciting.
I hope we'll have Christmas parties in the community.
I bet. Did we count?
Many homes are full of leaks that add to your heating and cooling bill. These areas are also a place for pests to enter your home.
The most common source for these leaks is around your doors and windows. Let's start with your doors. Turn the lights off and close the curtains if you can. Now step back and look for any light coming through the edges of your door. If you see light, you have a leak. Open your door and check the quality of your weather strip. If you don't have any, or the strip you have is badly worn, you will need to buy new stripping and install it. Now check your windows for gaps. Fill these with latex caulk. Make sure you don't caulk over weep holes. Open your HVAC registers to see if there are any gaps around the edges. Fill small gaps with latex caulk. If the gaps are larger than 1/4 of an inch, you may need to buy some filler to place in the gap before caulking. If you have ductwork under your home, check for air leaks or failing duct tape. This is an example of failing duct tape. Remove old duct tape and reseal any gaps in your duct work with duct mastic. Other spots where you might need to caulk include baseboards, any pipes or ducts that penetrate an exterior wall, floor, or ceiling. Common areas include under sinks and around appliances. If you have an open fireplace, make sure the flue is tightly closed. If your fireplace doesn't have a damper, you will need to seal the opening to stop air from being drawn up the chimney. Remember to remove any sealing materials in the fireplace if you plan on using it.
Once you seal these areas, you'll find you have fewer drafts and reduced energy bills.
Hello, my name is Tracy Nestor. I'm the festival chairman of Hickory Oktoberfest, and welcome to downtown Hickory, the birthplace of Oktoberfest. Founded by Beamer Harrell in 1986 as we celebrate our 25th year. Beamer had a passion and vision for downtown. He was an architect that actually built his residence here in downtown Hickory. He wanted it to be a very vibrant place to live, to work, and to shop and to dine. Oktoberfest was the partnership between the Downtown Development Association and Hickory. The Downtown Development Association is an organization that promotes the things that Beamer was very passionate about.
Hickory Oktoberfest, recognized as one of the top 10 festivals in North Carolina, is a 3-day celebration the second weekend of October in downtown Hickory, attracting around 100,000 people and generating more than $7 million of economic impact in the community. $25,000 to $30,000 of the money generated every year goes back into the downtown infrastructure with electrical, banners, lights, and other aesthetic-pleasing upgrades. Oktoberfest is a year-long planning process that includes 4 committee chairs, 10 volunteers, and there will be around 60 volunteers that will work all weekend to produce the event, in partnership with the City of Hickory's sanitation, fire, and police departments. So now you're saying, get on with it! What is there to do at Hickory Oktoberfest? Oktoberfest is a family-oriented event with over 132 vendors, including handmade crafts, not imported mind you, caricatures, shopping, and the food. Over 30 food vendors are at Oktoberfest. What do you like to eat at festivals? Yeah, we got that. 5 stages of live music, country, rock, oompa, contemporary Christian. Whatever your music style, we've got you covered. Being a family-oriented event, there's an area for kids, Kids Fest. This is of course popular with the kids, but parents seem to enjoy it also. Rides, face painting, more food, and a live stage with performances from local dance and theater groups, martial arts, cheer teams, and more live music. One of the more popular events over the last few years is the Oktoberfest Foot Race, sponsored by Carolina Orthopedic Specialists. The foot race takes place on the Saturday of Oktoberfest in downtown Hickory with a 5K run, walk, or 10K run. Last year, over 160 runners participated, so register early. For a race map and registration information, go to roadrace.carolinaortho.com. The 13th annual Castle of Cans Food Drive will again be a part of Hickory's Oktoberfest. Students from approximately 12 area elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, and colleges will be collecting canned food for local food pantries, soup kitchens, and non-profit organizations that feed the hungry. The cans will be used to build a castle in the Kids Fest area on October 8th, and then the food will be distributed among the agency. Sponsors are always a big part of Hickory Oktoberfest, and without them, this Top 10 festival would not be possible. With that said, we would like to thank United Beverage, Mike Johnson's Hickory Toyota, 8th Floor Media, Pepsi, Focus Magazine, Hickory JC's, The Big Dog 92.1 FM, Alltel Wireless, 1290 WHKY, WHKY TV, Charter Communications, and the City of Hickory. So let's recap. Hickory Oktoberfest, the second weekend of October, and of course, downtown Hickory. Lots of people, plenty of food, live music, a foot race, Kids Fest. Need more information? HickoryOktoberfest.com. See you there.
Thanks for watching Catawba Communities. On next month's edition, Dave Harden talks with Cindy Travis about veteran services, information on leaf pickup across the county. Terry Byers talks winter fire safety tips, and get ready for the holidays with events and activities from around the county. Did you know? Tips on saving energy during the winter months and much more on the next Catawba Communities.